20 years. Millersville, Pennsylvania, a town where doors stayed unlocked and secrets rarely lasted long. Yet for 20 years, one woman kept a secret buried beneath her own home. Michael and Sandra Weaver were a troubled couple. Married young, they built a life that looked steady from the outside. 2 children, a small house on Pine Hollow Road, and steady jobs. But those closest to them knew all was not well. One of those people was Claire Jennings, Sandra's best friend since high school. Claire lived just 2 streets over and was often the first person Sandra called when tensions at home ran high. She'd been there for the late-night tears, the whispered confessions, the bruises Sandra sometimes brushed off as accidents, and she'd heard the fights more than once from the open windows of the Weaver house. But nothing compared to that June night in 1999. The argument began in the kitchen after dinner. Michael had come home late from work, smelling of whiskey. Sandra had waited for him with cold food on the stove, her patience already thin. "Where were you?" she demanded, arms crossed tightly. "Work." "Where do you think?" Michael shot back, tossing his jacket over a chair. "You expect me to believe that? You're never home, Michael. Never with the kids. You think I don't notice when you reek of alcohol?" Michael slammed his fist on the table. "At least I work to keep this family afloat. What do you do, Sandra? Gossip with Claire all day? Complain about how hard your life is?" Her face flushed. "Claire listens to me. That's more than I can say for you. She cares when you don't even notice your own children crying themselves to sleep." The mention of Claire lit a fuse. Michael's eyes narrowed, his voice dropping into a dangerous growl. "Don't you dare bring her into this. I know she's been filling your head with poison. Maybe she likes playing the hero to my poor, neglected wife." The air in the room thickened. Sandra took a step back, but her voice was steady. "Claire's been more of a husband to me than you've ever been." Michael lunged forward, grabbing her wrist. "Don't you ever say that again." The sound of the struggle carried through the thin summer air. Claire, walking home after checking in on Sandra earlier that evening, heard the shouting from outside. She paused by the hedge, frozen, listening. Inside, Sandra wrenched herself free, her heart pounding. She reached for the nearest thing, a cast-iron skillet left on the counter from dinner. She held it in trembling hands, warning him, "Stay back, Michael." But Michael sneered, taking a step closer. "What are you gonna do? Hit me? You don't have it in you." And then, one moment of rage, fear, and survival, Sandra swung. The heavy skillet cracked against his temple with a sickening thud. Michael staggered, eyes wide with shock, before collapsing to the floor, unmoving. Silence filled the room, broken only by Sandra's ragged breathing. Claire stood frozen outside the side, unable to see what had happened, but shaken by the sudden silence after the violent shouts. She waited a few moments, then slipped away into the darkness, telling herself it wasn't her place, that maybe they had simply ended another fight. She would later regret that decision for the rest of her life. Inside, Sandra dropped the skillet, staring at her husband's lifeless body. The horror of what she had done seeped in. The children were asleep upstairs. The world would never forgive her. Driven by terror and desperation, she dragged Michael's body into the basement. Hour after hour, she dug with blistered hands, prying up the floorboards, burying him beneath the dirt and wood. When morning light broke, the kitchen was clean, the children were fed, and Michael Weaver had disappeared. For 20 years, Sandra lived above his grave. She told friends he had abandoned them. She told her children their father had chosen another life. Claire, haunted by what she'd overheard that night, never pressed Sandra further. She carried her own guilt in silence, suspecting more than she ever admitted. Then came 2018. The new couple renovating the old Weaver house found the skeleton beneath the basement floor. DNA confirmed the truth. It was Michael. When police questioned Sandra, she broke down and confessed. But what shocked investigators most was the revelation of Claire Jennings, the friend who had heard that last fight. Claire testified in court, her voice trembling as she recounted Michael's words, Sandra's defiance, and the chilling silence that followed. The jury convicted Sandra Weaver of second-degree murder. She will spend the rest of her life behind prison walls. Claire lives with her own torment, knowing she had been so close to stopping the crime, knowing she had walked away. And the Weaver children, now adults, live with the knowledge that both their parents were taken from them that night. One buried under the floorboards, the other swallowed by guilt and lies. Millersville has never forgotten. Neighbors still speak in hushed voices when passing the old house, and the story lingers as a warning. Sometimes the people closest to us, even our best friends, hold pieces of the truth, but keep them hidden in silence.